Dear brothers and sisters, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. In the past, today's feast was called Corpus Christi, and the emphasis was on the public proclamation of our faith, street processions, altars of repose, gatherings of all brotherhoods, and so on. Since the Second Vatican Council, it has been called the Feast of the Body and Blood of Christ. This is a significant change as it emphasizes the communal celebration of the Eucharist rather than the outward proclamation of our Catholicism. The Feast of the Body and Blood of Christ therefore encourages us to renew our interest in the communal celebration of the Lord's Day. The bread that came down from heaven, the Eucharist, is above all a feast of remembrance. Do this in remembrance of me. The text of Deuteronomy, the first reading, begins with the words, remember. This reading reminds us that God accompanied his people in the desert, gave them water from a rock, and fed them with an unknown bread they called manna. When the book of Deuteronomy was written, the Hebrews had long since left the desert and settled in Palestine. They risked forgetting all that God had done for them. Remember that God brought you out of slavery in Egypt. Remember how far the Lord your God led you in the desert these 40 years. Having settled in Palestine, wealthy and prosperous, they could now revel in the wealth, but they risked forgetting the God who had freed them. When everything is going well, when prosperity is a part of life, when health is excellent, we easily become self-sufficient and feel we no longer need God. It's hard to remember God in times of prosperity. After the September 11th terrorist attacks in the United States, the media highlighted the increase in attendance at religious services in the country. When peace returned, attendance dropped again. It seems that when people become wealthy and do not have to face serious problems, their memories weaken. Today's reading reminds us that looking back at our past helps us see God's presence in our lives and allows us to look to the future with confidence. A nation's memory is a bit like the root of a tree. The tree lives from them. It owes in its sustenance and grows to them. The flowers, fruit, and leaves may fall each year, but the roots remain. The tree's future lies in its root. The Eucharist we celebrate do not have to be spectacular events, but they must awaken the memory of who we are. They are there to remind us of what God has done for us, He who accompanies us in both good times and difficult ones. Remember, do this in memory of me. Today's feast is therefore a feast of remembrance, I said. It is also a feast of unity. And as St. John Paul II says, Paul, though we are many, we are one body, for we all partake of the same bread. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 17. We often forget the extraordinary power of reconciliation in the Eucharist. At the end of the Sermon of the Mount, Jesus said, if you bring your gift to the altar and remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there. Go first and be reconciled with them. Then come and offer your gift to the Lord. Matthew chapter 5, 23 to 24. The Eucharist has remained a symbol of unity in diversity throughout the centuries. We can all participate, liberals, conservatives, other groups, New Poland, youth, traditionalists, innovators, couples, singles, people of all political, sexual, and religious orientations. Together, in our diversity, we form the body of Christ. The source of our unity is not our country, our political party, our culture, or the color of our skin. It is Christ who invites us to his table. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. The great St. Augustine, speaking of the Eucharist, exclaimed, O mysterium unitatis, O vinculum caritatis, O mystery and unity, O bond of love. When we leave church after the Eucharist, we are invited to return to our families, to work, to our recreational activities, to build a world of peace, brotherhood, and sharing, a world that more closely resembles God's vision for us. The feast of the body and blood of Christ is therefore very important because it highlights the unique value of our Sunday gatherings. It is a celebration that encourages us to remember the essential role God plays in our lives. It also helps us become ever more truly a community in unity and diversity. If we share in the life of Christ, our lives will have a taste of eternity.